A single leaked video turned my first semester into a public trial. I came to Ashmont College chasing freedom, but a grainy clip of an almost kiss with my roommate lit the campus on fire, and someone behind the scenes kept feeding the blaze. Whispers became headlines, friendships cracked, and every message on my phone felt like a trap when the charismatic literature professor who'd been helping me started pulling invisible strings. Rumors twisted into something darker. Was he protecting me, manipulating me, or building a story where we were both characters he could control? This is my account, 7 chapters of betrayal, quiet courage, and a choice to write my own ending. The truth isn't about what they filmed. It's about what they never saw. I was 19 when Ashmont first smelled like a clean slate laundry soap in the dorms, marker on whiteboards, plastic wrap on textbooks. I thought I'd outrun the small-town version of me. On the second week, during Intro to American Lit, the floor gave way. We sat in a bright hall full, down desks hissing open and shut. Weston strode in with rolled sleeves and a quiet voice that made people lean in. He plugged in his laptop. A blue rectangle blinked to life. "Quick clip before we start," he said. "Hidden authorship." The room dimmed. A grainy phone video filled the screen. A hallway I knew, our dorm, 3rd floor. There I was in a gray t-shirt, leaning against the laundry room door. Liam's new roommate late. Summer freckles, a smile that tugged one corner higher, stepped half a pace into my space. My hand hovered, then landed on his sleeve. His laugh was just breath. The camera caught the moment our foreheads touched and stayed there, like the phone had forgotten how to look. Gasps popped around the room. A guy in the back whispered, "Yo." My ears burned. Weston froze by the lectern, mouse jittering. The video stuttered, zoomed someone's finger, and made me look braver than I was. I could smell detergent in the dark room, memory shoving into the present. "Apologies," he said, killing the display. His voice stayed steady, his eyes didn't. They paused on me a fraction too long. That was not the file. People were already looking, some entertained, some careful, some deciding whether they knew me. Liam wasn't in this class. I picked a pen I didn't need and pretended to take notes while my phone lit up. 3 messages, 10, a link, then the video again from a different number. After class, a shoulder brushed mine. "Didn't peg you for the brave type," someone murmured. Outside, September sun felt too glossy. I cut across the quad and took the service stairs. On our door, an index card, blue ink, laundry boy. I stood there with the key in my fist. Inside, Liam pulled off his headphones. His face moved at once surprise, worry, then a flare of protectiveness. "You saw it?" he asked. "In class," I said. "Everyone?" He crossed the room and pressed his forehead to mine, a quiet echo of the screen. "No one filming, just his breath near my cheek, the steady human proof I waste, falling through space." "Well, handle it," he said. "We didn't do anything wrong, but the campus handled it for us." Comments multiplied. A still from the video turned into a sticker on a meme page. The Ray said they were monitoring the situation. A guy from down the hall offered better angles next time and laughed like it was generous. That night, I finished my first paper for Weston's class in the Labsterborn, doing the work anyway. I submitted at 2, 3 a.m. At 7, 11, an email pinged, "Notice of Academic Integrity Review." The claim, my paper matched sources I hadn't cited. A percentage, a meeting, a warning that scholarships could be impacted. I stared until the words blurred. I'd written every line alone. It didn't matter, the system wanted a story and it had found one. Me, the kid with the leaked almost kiss, now the kid who cheated. 2 dots, people love a line between them. I went to Weston's office hours. His door was half open. He was typing when he saw me. Concern slid into place. "Evin," he said. "Rough morning." The email, I said. "I didn't," he nodded. "The software overflags. Well, talk in the meeting. For what it's worth, I think you're capable of original work. For what it's worth." He gestured to a chair. I didn't sit. On the wall, a quote about authorship belonging to readers. "We can find a path through this," he said. "Keep your head down this week. Keep your head down." When my face was stapled to feeds, I couldn't stop. By afternoon, whispers hardened into distance. People who had smiled 2 days ago now reread notifications instead of meeting my eyes. Liam made jokes to cut the air. I let them carry us as far as they could. At 6, the dorm's fire alarm tested. We filed onto the sidewalk. Someone played the clip at half volume until Ray told them to grow up. When we went back in, the index card was gone. In its place, a printout of the integrity notice with a sticky note. "So much for original." I took it down. Liam's thumb found the nerve near my palm and stilled it. "Well, appeal," he said. Down the hall, a shadow paused. Someone listening. I caught the tail of a jacket and a faint cologne that didn't belong on our floor. For a second I wondered if Weston had been there, taking a quiet survey of the damage. That night I watched the red exit sign paint the ceiling. My phone buzzed with an unsaved number, a message, "You think hell still want you after this?" No name, but I knew who he meant, and I knew the thing breaking wasn't just campus mood. It was the floorboards of trust, in friends, in systems, in the safety of a closed door. I typed 3 words and deleted them. When Liam rolled closer in sleep, his knee brushed mine and the heat said, "I'm here." It also said, "You are a light in a room where someone keeps flicking the switch." By morning I had a board meeting on my calendar, a rumor that ID begged Weston for leniency, and 2 missed calls from home. Outside, the air smelled like detergent, as if the whole campus had been scrubbed and still wouldn't come clean. I wanted a clean slate. What I got on week 2 was a story written for me by hands I couldn't see. The worst part was how convincingly it used my face. By Tuesday, the video had a nickname. People called it Laundry Lit. At the cereal dispensers, 2 guys bumped foreheads and laughed until the Rice Krispies hissed louder than they did. I kept my tray moving. The integrity board set my hearing for Friday, which meant living inside a countdown. Liam tried to build normal, gym, a late movie, the tutoring lab with magical highlighters. He acted like routine could sand the edges. Our first real moment came Wednesday after midnight, when the floor quieted. He lay across from me, one sock dangling like a white flag. The clip light carved the room into 2 islands. "You okay?" he asked, trying. "Read me a paragraph," he said, nodding at my backpack. It bored a software enough to accuse me, humor me, irate. He closed his eyes, listening the way you listen to a heart through a shirt. "It sounds like you," he said. "They can't fake that." Silence held. He patted the bed. I crossed the narrow carpet. Under the blanket he made a truce line. His thumb rested where pulse meets bone. His breath touched my neck. No, one filmed the part where people just breathe. "I hate that they took our firsts," he whispered. "The quiet ones," I said. Footsteps thudded past. A voice slurred, "Night laundry." Liam's fingers tightened, not to claim me, just to keep me from floating. He didn't kiss me. He didn't have to. The night held. Thursday came with starched phrases. There ran a floor talk on digital citizenship. Mom left a voicemail careful enough to bleed. In class, Weston lectured on unreliable narrators, and the syllabus looked at me. Afterward, he stopped me. "Free this afternoon. We can prep the hearing." Saying no would sound like hiding. In his office, the blinds were half, closed slats. He scrolled my essay. "It's competent," he said. "The checker flags clutch, phrases common to papers on the same text. We can argue intent, we." He glanced at the clock. "Walk with me." We cut across the quad. Behind us, a cluster of guys peeled the same way, like iron filings to a magnet. Weston didn't look back. "People don't pick targets at random," he said. "They pick people whose silence they can narrate." I wasn't sure if he was diagnosing or recruiting. Outside the library he held the door and let them pass. One smirked like I'd been delivered. "That night a new account dayed. He's not good for you." A minute later Liam got, "Why risk your scholarship for someone who likes drama?" We laughed for half a breath. Then came a photo. The Ra's door, a sticky note. "M.E.T. Eyeing soon, not a threat. Choreography." Friday the hearing room smelled like old markers. 3 faculty, a student rep, a recorder. I named my process, drafts, notes, hours. Weston spoke to procedure, calm and helpful. When the rep asked if publicity might motivate leniency, he said, "Publicity isn't a category in our rubric." The line earned a micro laugh and offered me up again, only slyer. "Outside?" he said. "You handled that well." Coffee. I hesitated. I was tired of being my own country. 1. In the caf he asked about my hometown in a way that might have been friendly if power hadn't sat between us like a third chair. When I mentioned Liam, his eyes softened, the way people's eyes do when they locate an advantage and mistake it for empathy. "I'm glad you have support," he said. "Some people don't choose wisely, choose who they let define them." His phone lit. He stepped away. Through the window I saw Marcus from our row pause on the sidewalk, check his screen, look up again. For 2 seconds their eyes met in the glass. Weston nodded on Citini, teacher. Molland came back asking about my weekend. By Saturday someone slid flyers under doors. Consent is not complicated. Neither is cheating. 2 boxes. A QR code to nowhere. Liam shredded ours like confetti after a parade you didn't want. We tried a small field of normal. He showed me how to make eggs on the hot plate without getting written up. We did laundry like the campus hadn't weaponized it. In the folding room, with machines ticking toward done, He leaned back, and I stepped into his space and felt the warm, ordinary courage of being close. "Nobody gets to write us," he said. "We write us." I believed him for a whole minute. Monday the board emailed insufficient evidence. Case closed. I exhaled for the first time in a week. An hour later a rumor arrived. Weston had gone to bat for me, that I was his project, that gratitude was in order. Gratitude, weaponized, is just another leash. In class we signed up for a museum trip. Weston posted the list himself. My name was already on it. So were Liam's and Marcus. Weston handed me the slip with the smallest smile, like a director sliding new pages into the script. "Field work," he said. "You'll like it. I will if I get to choose where I stand." "Everyone chooses," he said. "They just don't always know who arranged the options." I carried the paper across the quad. Liam bumped my shoulder and grinned about the bus. For one clean breath it was just us again, 2 names on a list. Then I saw Marcus watching from the steps, texting with the care of someone following a map. I looked at my hands. They were steady. The truth still hummed through the walls. There were consequences, and there was also a design. And the design had my name printed in neat faculty, approved font. The museum trip started under a pewter sky, the kind that made every color sharper. We boarded the charter bus in small knots of conversation, the hum of headphone leaks and coffee lids. I took a seat by the window. Liam slid in beside me. Across the aisle, Marcus angled his phone just enough to catch reflections. Weston moved down the row with a roll sheet. When he paused at our seat, the air thinned. "Morning," he said, voice even. "Morning," Liam replied, a little too light. Weston's glance lingered on me a half-second longer than courtesy required. Not a threat, something quieter, like a question waiting for an answer. The ride stretched into a silence that wasn't empty. Liam leaned his head on my shoulder as the city blurred past, and I felt the weight of trust and the tremor of being watched. The museum's main hall echoed with shoes on marble. Weston assigned groups for discussion, pairing me with Marcus. Liam shot me a look that said play along but stay close. Marcus kept his voice low. "He set this up," he murmured near an abstract canvas. "You sure he texts me," Marcus said, thumb sliding across his phone. "Little hints about you, about him." Before I could answer, Weston appeared, casual as breath. "Good observations, both of you," he said, as if we'd been talking about brushstrokes. His gaze flicked between us like he already knew the topic. During a lecture stop in a quiet wing, Weston asked me to help move a cart of brochures. The hallway beyond the exhibit was empty, light falling in fractured squares. "You handle pressure well," he said. "I'm still here," I replied. He stepped closer, not violating space, just softening it. "People misunderstand intent," he said. "They fill silence with their own noise." His sleeve brushed mine as he reached for the cart. The touch was nothing and everything, heat through cotton, a pulse where our arms met. I didn't move. "Even," he said, my name low enough that it barely existed. For a heartbeat I imagined leaning in, imagined the room bending around us. Then footsteps approached. He straightened, professional again. "Let's get these to the group." On the bus ride back, Liam traced patterns on the back of my hand with his finger, tiny circles hidden by the seat. "He's playing with you," Liam whispered. "With us," I corrected. Outside, dusk burned the skyline. Inside, the air carried a charge I couldn't name, a knot of fear, want, and the dangerous thrill of being seen. I watched Weston's reflection in the dark window. His eyes were on the road, but I felt the weight of a story still being written, one move at a time. Monday's sun looked clean enough to trust, but the campus had already decided what to believe. Flyers from the museum trip floated through group chats, blurred screenshots of me and Weston standing too close near the brochure cart. No proof, just angles and captions. "Teacher's pet, round 2. By lunch," whispers followed us down the quad. Liam's jaw worked like he was chewing a stone. "They are not even pretending anymore," he said. "Pretending what? That he isn't after you, that you're not letting him." The words stung more than the rumor itself. "We both know," I started. "Do we?" He stopped walking. "You don't see the way you lean in when he talks. You think I don't notice." People slowed as they passed, scenting tension. I pulled him toward the science building for cover, but the hallway only amplified the echo of our voices. "You think I asked for this," I said. "I think you like the attention." The sentence hit like a door slam. Liam's eyes softened the second it left his mouth, but it was too late. We parted with a silence heavy enough to leave dents. That evening, an anonymous post on the campus forum accused Marcus of leaking the museum photos. Comments bloomed, some defending him, others sharpening knives. By midnight, someone slid a photocopy under my door. A printout of the thread with guess was next scrawled in marker. I found Marcus outside the library, hunched over his phone. "Wasn't me," he said before I opened my mouth. "I didn't accuse you. Everyone else did." And Weston, he broke off, glancing toward the faculty lot. He texted me again, said the truth always surfaces if I stay quiet. What does that even mean? The night pressed in. I realized we were all pieces on a board only one person could see. The next class felt like theater. Weston spoke about narrative control, each sentence a match struck in slow motion. Liam sat 3 rows back, pretending to copy notes, his distance louder than any argument. When the lecture ended, Weston asked me to stay. Marcus hesitated at the door, caught the professor's look, and left. "You're under pressure," Weston said once we were alone. "It can warp perception, mine or theirs, both." His voice was almost kind, but his eyes held a challenge. I felt the room tilt, authority bending into something else. "I don't want this," I said. "Want what?" He stepped closer. Not a single movement inappropriate, yet every inch a test. My pulse betrayed me. "You don't have to fight everyone," he whispered. "Let them think what they want. We know the truth." The door creaked open. Liam stood there, face unreadable. "Ready to go?" he asked, clipped. Weston's expression barely changed. Hayes, please remember we're still on campus." I followed Liam into the hallway where the air felt jagged. We walked until the stairwell swallowed us. "You stayed," he said. "He asked me to. You could have left." The quiet after that was worse than shouting. By Friday, the rumor machine had turned to fire. Someone's spray painted pet on the dorm sidewalk. Our ref filed another report. Liam stopped answering my texts. Marcus avoided eye contact entirely. I was both too visible and completely alone. That night, as the hallway emptied for a long weekend, a message slid across my screen. Field trip follow-up. Meet me at the old lecture hall. Midnight. No name, but the style was Weston's precise, inviting, untraceable. I didn't go. I sat by the window instead, watching the lights of the lecture hall blink on at exactly 12. A silhouette moved inside, tall, still, waiting. When the light clicked off 20 minutes later, a different truth settled in. Whatever game Weston was playing, I had already lost more than I understood. Trust in Liam, trust in the ground beneath me. The campus slept, but the story kept writing itself, line by careful line, and I could feel the next chapter breathing at the edge of the dark. The weekend thinned campus to vending machine hum and echoing stairwells. At 2 p.m., a knock hit our door 3 short, too long. I opened to an empty hall and a flyer on the floor. Party moved basement lounge, an arrow toward the back stairs. I texted Liam, no read, the lounge lights were out, strip leads bled under the door. I stepped in the door, clicked behind me, and a phone flashlight pinned my eyes. Speech, someone called, laughter, a chair scraped under the handle, the sprinklers coughed mist, phones lifted like a constellation. A chant ignited, sloppy and rehearsed, teacher's pet, childish words, adult intention. Open the door, I said. In the glare I found Marcus in the back, jaw tight, not chanting. He didn't raise his phone. Our eyes met. His said, "I can't stop this." Mine said, "Neither can I." The alarm tripped for real. Sirens chewed the air. Whoever wedged the chair yanked it. Free bodies pushed past me. A hand grazed my shoulder. Upstairs, security flooded the stairwell. Someone hissed my name like a charge. Then Liam's hand found my arm, steady and warm through the damp. "With me," he said. Outside, spit landed near my shoe. A cup bounced off the steps. A guy smirked, then looked away when Liam turned his. "Who locked you in?" he asked. "A room full of cowards." My voice shook. His hand stayed where it was, not ownership ballast. An admin took statements. Across the crowd, Weston stood by the arms folded, conferring with staff. When his eyes tracked to me, concern creased his facerial or rehearsed. "You okay?" he called. I didn't answer. Liam did. "He's fine." Back in the room, the ceiling ticked rain. Liam shut the door and pressed his forehead to it. "I'm sorry," he said. "For what?" "For being part of the noise, for buying the angles." His eyes were red. "I should have been blocking the door from the outside, not doubting you from the inside." The apology landed like a towel. He sat so close the mattress dipped. His hand found mine, cautious, then sure. "I missed you," he said. "I was in the next bed. You know what I mean." He turned my palm up and drew a single line, like signing a treaty. Warmth seeped where our shoulders touched. He didn't kiss me. He didn't have to. The air softened my ribs, unclenched. "Let's get out of here tomorrow," he said. "Coffee off campus, no group chats, okay?" At a diner, the server called us honey. We traded small truths. His brother's truck, my scar. A quiet street where I learned balance. It felt like water returning to a glass. Midway through pancakes, our phones buzzed in the same rhythm. We paid. Outside, heat lifted from the sidewalk. At the corner we watched it. A museum bathroom door opens, me entering, a jump cut, Weston entering. Another cut, then only audio, breath and fabric, the kind mics love. No faces, just suggestion, a caption, academic mentorship. The last frame froze on the handle, a smear of movement reflected in chrome, edited to look like hands moving. "It's fake," I said fast before doubt learned my name. Liam shouldered the wind for me, I know. Relief was small, the flood bigger. Comments piled like sandbags that don't hold. Open secret, finally proof. Expel him, fire him, hot. "We go to student affairs," Liam said. Now, in the lobby, Marcus chewed his thumbnail. He thrust his phone at Messamy Clip, but the sender showed as a gray circle with one letter. "I think he sent it to me by mistake," Marcus said, "or on purpose, so I'd feel like an accomplice. Alleged manipulation, serious breach, it traced headers." When the dean asked if I wanted to file a formal complaint, the floor steadied. "Yes," I said. My voice sounded older. We left with a case number. Weston texted, "We should talk before this escalates. Office 4 p.m. Liam squeezed my shoulder. Not alone. We went together. Weston kept us waiting. When he opened the door, he frowned at the two chairs scraping forward. "I understand there's a video," he said, weary, practiced. "This is getting out of hand. I filed a complaint," I said. A small silence like a power outage. Then, "About whom, you?" he exhaled. A laugh boiled down to steam. "Even, I've been protecting you from the mob you attracted by courting attention you didn't understand." "He didn't court anything," Liam said. "You think love makes you brave," Weston said. "It makes you legible." "If I go through with this," I asked, "what happens?" "You'll be interviewed," quoted, misquoted. "Your mother will get calls. Your scholarship committee will get nervous." His gaze flicked to Liam. "Are you sure your boyfriend can handle being collateral? I'm done with your choices," I said. His face hardened like a mask. "Then I'll respond formally." "To what?" "To your insinuations." He had built the maze and carried the map. We left. That night a campus-wide email arrived. "Temporary leave of absence. Dur. Jonathan Weston, effective immediately, pending review." Relief rose, then broke. Then interim assignments will be handled by adjunct faculty. Students named in ongoing reviews will be notified. Named, the word hung over my bed like a light I couldn't switch off. I pictured Weston at home, paused, drafting maps. Liam's hand found mine under the blanket. "We're okay," he whispered. I wanted that to be the ending. But endings don't come in the middle, and somewhere between my chest and the dark, I knew the next threat had already started writing itself. The email announcing Weston's leave didn't end anything. It only peeled back the next layer. By morning, rumor threads claimed I had forced him out. Others swore we'd plotted the drama together for attention. Screenshots of the fake museum clip kept surfacing, trimmed and slowed, each edit more suggestive than the last. Liam and I tried to move through the cafeteria like ordinary students. It lasted 3 minutes. "You happy now?" A voice called from behind the drink station. "Got him canned." I turned. Marcus stepped between me and a cluster of upperclassmen had been whispering. "Back off," he said. The crowd dissolved into nervous laughter. Later, Marcus found me outside the library. "He's still reaching out," he said quietly. "Different numbers, no name. Just moves on the chessboard." My phone buzzed. An unknown sender. Meet me where it started. Midnight. One final conversation. The old lecture hall. I showed Liam. "Don't go," he said instantly. "If I ignore it, he keeps controlling the story. And if you go, he keeps controlling you." I promised nothing. The campus slept under a thin frost when I left the dorm. The lecture hall loomed like a shadow of itself glass panes, reflecting a single security light. Inside, the air smelled of dust and chalk. Weston stood near the front row, jacket off, sleeves rolled. He looked almost tired enough to be harmless. "Almost. You came," he said. "I wanted to stop." He tilted his head. "It stops when people lose interest. That takes time, or a better ending. I filed my complaint. That's the ending, is it?" He stepped closer, careful, deliberate. "They want spectacle. If we give them a quiet conclusion, they'll write their own. I don't care." "You do," he said softly. "You care enough to be here." I stayed rooted. "Why did you send the video?" His mouth tightened. "Control the narrative before it controls you. That's what you taught me, I never. You think you're the only one bullied. His voice sharpened. Faculty play politics too. I saw myself in ya. How easy it is for the mob to rewrite a life. That doesn't give you the right to wreck mine. He took a slow breath, then lowered it. Maybe I wanted to see who y'd become under pressure. Maybe I wanted to know if y'd stay. I felt the room tilt, the same slow vertigo as the museum hallway. But this time I stepped back. You don't get to define me, I said. Not anymore. Something flickered in his eye-sanger, or maybe recognition. Then define yourself, he said. Footsteps echoed from the entrance. Liam burst through the door, breath white in the cold. Even Weston straightened, calm mask snapping back. You brought a witness. Good you texted him, Liam said. You don't get to play teacher anymore. I was never playing, Weston replied. I was demonstrating. Demonstrating what? I demanded. That power only works if people give it away. He picked up his jacket, met my eyes one last time. Don't hand it to them, he said, and walked past us into the night. Outside, the sky had the bruised color of dawn. Liam grabbed my shoulders. You okay? I think so. My voice wavered. He wanted a scene. We didn't give him one. Felt like a scene to me, he said, but his hand stayed steady on my back. We filed a final statement with campus security before sunrise. By noon, Weston's resignation email hit every inbox. A brief, careful paragraph about irreconcilable differences with administration. And a need to step away, no mention of me. The noise didn't stop overnight. Threads kept spinning arrow, villain, victim, co-conspirator. But something inside me shifted. The fear of being misread dulled. People would tell the story they wanted. I finally believed I didn't have to live in it. That evening, Liam and I sat on the library roof, watching students cross the quad like tiny moving lights. He leaned against me, a quiet weight. What now? He asked. Class, finals, maybe transfer next semester, and us. I looked at him, the city glow catching in his eyes. We write that part ourselves. He smiled small, certain. Below us the campus murmured, still hungry for drama, but it felt far away. For the first time since that video flickered across the classroom wall, I wait, and afraid of who might be watching. Winter found the campus before I left. Frost climbed the windows of the dorm like handwriting only the cold could read. Weston's name vanished from faculty lists, but traces of him lingered empty office hours on the schedule. A half-erased quote on a chalkboard, no one used anymore. People stopped whispering about me the way storms stop suddenly, as if the noise had never happened. But every glance still felt like an echo. When strangers laughed too hard, I checked for my name inside the sound. Liam and I stayed close but careful, the way you protect something fragile in a crowded room. Some nights we shared quiet warmth on the library roof, watching the city lights flicker like static. We never defined what we were. We didn't need to. After everything, naming felt like another trap. My transfer papers came through in late January. The new college sat 3 states away, far enough that the rumors would thin before I arrived. I packed light clothes, a single worn notebook, the flyer from the night in the basement folded small as a scar. On my last evening, I walked past the lecture hall where Weston had stood. The door was locked, but I could still picture the space, the faint chalk dust, the way power had hummed in the air like low voltage. For a heartbeat I wondered where he was now, which story he was telling about me, or himself. Then I let the thought go. Liam met me at the bus stop before dawn. We didn't say good-bye like lovers or friends, just 2 people who had survived the same storm. He pressed a small note into my palm. Write your own ending, it said. When the bus pulled away, the campus shrank into a silhouette against the first pale stripe of day. I watched it until it became a memory sharp, unfinished, and strangely quiet.